Alright. Just gonna check that the stream is good. Let's see. Just gonna check that the stream is good. Alright, cool. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Biopilot Arms. Yeah, I know it's late. I know I said I'd update you earlier, but, you know, we all have jobs, and I have to work too, just like all of you. So, you know, I've been compiling stuff that I've been seeing all day, and went ahead and am going to be bringing it to you guys right now. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to wait a minute or two, see if anybody gets in the room, so that way you guys can watch. And then I will go ahead and jump right in. I'll go ahead and tell you what we're going to be talking about. I have background checks on the entire shooter's family, his mother, his father, and himself. It is public records. They were given to me by a third party before all the information on them got kind of, wiped from the internet. Oh, hold on. I might have to restart the stream. It looks like it froze. Give me a second. Okay, are we back up? Is it working? Okay, cool. I don't know why it always does that, where I have to start it freezes, and then I have to restart my streaming software again, and then it works after that. Who knows, man? My computer's old. Alright, so what was I saying? Right, so I have the background checks on the entire family before they kind of wiped that stuff or made it hard to acquire. It's public records that I was able to acquire from a trusted source. And then we also have a couple news videos that I was able to find through browsing TikTok, some videos from interviews on security professionals, stuff like that. And then the biggest video that I want you guys to see, we'll jump right into that one right after the background checks I show you guys. But there's a video by Milk Bar TV where they compiled all of the videos from that day into one timeline, and they have them running consecutively together with a timer at the bottom that shows exactly how long it took from the time that people pointed out that they could see the shooter to the time that shots were taken at Trump. And it is quite shocking, to be honest. So we're going to get into all of that. I'm just trying to set it up right now, so I'm trying to keep you guys a little, entertained while I'm trying to get all this ready to go. Because, multiple windows open and whatnot. It's kind of annoying to deal with, to be honest. But I'll do what I can for you guys. Anyway, guys, let me see if I can get this display. Okay, let's do display capture, and then I should be able to bring up this. So here is the public data on all three of the family members. Keep in mind that public data stuff and background checks can lag behind or have missing information in them because, well, public data is usually run by the government, and when are they ever good at, cataloging anything? So there may be some missing information as well. I'm just going to go through these really quick and show you the things that stick out to me. So this is apparently his mother. She's 53 years old. Blah blah. It's just talking about public data stuff. Where they live in Bethel Park. Then let's scroll down here to possible relatives and everybody, who might be related to her. Continuing down all the way to the bottom. Here's where we see no criminal records, anything like that. All this stuff, blah 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 blah. And then let's see, what her job is. But the thing, It's like way at the bottom. Okay. So here's the voter registration for his mother, right? She's a Democrat in 1998, right? Most people don't change their registration going forward. Now, this says 1998. That's a very long time ago. I can't do math in my head that fast, but that's what, 26-ish years ago, I want to say. Now, this says that's when she was registered. Now, I don't know. I don't know how each state works, and I don't know how this state works. Whether or not you have to register all, like each cycle, or if it's register once and then you're good. I assume that if you have been living at the exact same address the whole time, you wouldn't have to register again. So she's probably still registered as a Democrat and never had to re-register. With that being said, everybody was pointing to the fact that he's registered as a Republican, but clearly his mother is a Democrat. I believe his father is. Let's take a look at his father. I haven't actually looked at the other two of these yet. I only looked at his mother. Okay, Matthew B. Crooks, 53, same location. Let's see, relatives, yeah. Let's go down to, again, no criminal record. Where is the employers? Yeah, affiliations, licenses. Where is the voter registration? Okay, so his dad is a Republican and his mother is a Democrat. Okay, so everybody's saying, oh well, he was a Republican, or he was registered as a Republican. Again, we went over this in the last video that I said, where it was like, okay, well, he never actually voted in anything because he probably wasn't of age at the time. So just because he's registered as something doesn't mean anything. Now, if both of his parents were Republican, I'd be like, okay, well, if both of his parents were Republican, maybe he was potentially a Republican who changed his mind, blah, blah, blah. But his mother's registered as a Democrat, which means mom's Democrat, father's Republican. There's probably either no talks of politics in the house, or there's talks of politics in the house and the mom and dad constantly have opposing ideas. With his mother being a Democrat in the house and him having donated to Democrats on Inauguration Day to Democratic PACs, sounds like he was a Democrat who either registered Republican because that's what his dad was, and so he wanted to register the same as his dad. Maybe his dad made him register as Republican. We have no idea. But the fact that his mom's a Democrat lends even more to the fact that him registering as a Republican, but then donating the way he did, and then, you know, being the one to try to assassinate Trump, means absolutely nothing that he was registered as a Republican. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at his background check. I did look at this one. There's really nothing on it. Lives at the same address. A lot of the same information is on this one. No criminal record. So that, and multiple news outlets have reported that there was nothing really that stood out about this kid. He had no criminal record. There was nothing really. I mean, he even bought the bullets the same day, like that morning. So not really a whole lot to tip everybody off, right? The thing, though, that gets me is the voter registration on the background check. Here, it says 0. So either he wasn't registered as anything and somebody made up that he was registered as a Republican, or the way that the data is put through takes a while to, like, my question is, when did he register as a Republican? And how long do those records take to become public record? Because it had to have been probably recently. It's either it was recent or public records take a long time to update. It's one of those two. Or somebody was lying. Who knows? But anyway, so that is the background checks here. So let's go ahead and go back to this over here. So we've got these records that really the only reason I'm showing you is specifically because it proves the point, in my opinion, that it does not actually really matter whether or not he was registered Republican or not. His family was on both sides of the aisle, so he probably registered one way, but his actions speak differently. Now, the important part that I was going to show you guys, let me get this ready for you guys. Okay, so I'm trying to pull this up. Okay. So this is the video I was talking about. It's by Milkbar TV. All the footage of people warning has been compiled into this one video, and there's a timer at the bottom that is showing the exact timeline of from when people were like, hey, there's a guy over here, to the time that shots are fired, and then of course following through the follow-up action that all that stuff happens as well. Now, the thing that it's insane, this video. So let's just go through it, man. Let's play it. Does that show full screen for you guys? Hold on. It should. Yeah, okay.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down. You see him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And son, I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look.
And it's
There
not
he is.
easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be.
Okay, we're already 37 seconds in. This guy is still crawling up this roof. Everybody's been pointing, saying, hey, this guy, what's going on? You know, there's a guy on this roof, okay? And so far, nothing's been done. No, the Secret Service have not gone over this. The local law enforcement who were in charge of this area, nothing.
Dangerous people, criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here. And it's much tougher than if it happened. We have the strongest border ever. In recorded history, we had the best border. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. Do you guys have access to that chart that I love so much? You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you? Because these teleprompters are so damn boring, I try and explain that. Oh, there's it. Wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at
Okay, we are now a minute and 30 seconds into people having already said there's a guy on the roof, this guy's got a gun, this guy is crawling in an area that is supposed to be secured by local law enforcement and or the Secret Service, and it is a elevated position that should have been being watched. Okay, all of the elevated positions should have been watched. Those buildings, the water tower in the distance, which I think I showed you guys yesterday in the map, and yet we're a minute and 30 seconds in, and nothing has been done.
So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little...
Look at that. 154. 1 minute and 54 seconds. Trump is still here. Secret Service has not done anything. Local law enforcement haven't done anything. And these civilians here, and you'll see some more in a second, are like, oh God. Like, they see it. They're getting out of the way. Look, right here. This guy, those people that were running over there, they're like, what's going on? Secret Service here has not said anything, not done anything yet. Trump is completely in the open, unaware. And yet, on this roof, it's out of frame. You can't see it. But out of frame over here is the guy getting ready to shoot.
If you want to really see something that says...
Right here, you can see, I think this is him right here. So, just before the shots break, you have local law enforcement here, I guess, finally figuring out something's wrong. But we're 2 minutes in, bro. 2 minutes in. And you can see Secret Service here, they're not rushing the stage. They're not going to get Trump. These guys that are on top of the building here seem to have sighted him at this point because they're both aiming this direction. But you can see that the guy is visible here. It's barely, but you can see him. I'm not faulting these Secret Service guys too much because you can barely see this guy. And so, you know, they're having to counter snipe this guy. They want to line up a good shot and make sure it's effective immediately. But still, why was local law enforcement over here being told for 2 minutes that something was going on and did nothing? Now, there are reports supposedly of a police officer supposedly having climbed up the ladder and to confront this guy, and then having the rifle shoved in his face, and then he backed off. But I don't know. I haven't actually seen any confirmed things about that. That's just been stuff that I've heard people say. And my question is, let's say that is the case. Should there not have been a response from Secret Service to get Trump off the stage? Like, was there a failure in communication? Like, a genuine question here. Okay, so we'll back this up just a little bit, and I'll let it run from here.
If you want to really see something that says...
I hope he's turning this way. Be careful, guys.
Now you can see shooter's down. It's this blurry area here. At least I think that is. I believe it's that right there is the shooter. So the Secret Service responded quite fast in taking him out, because now I've heard conflicting reports. It's the first 3 shots of the shooter, and then those like 4 or 5 rapid shots after were Secret Service returning fire, but they sound the same to me. So it sounds more like 1, 2, 3, and then the shooter let off a flurry of shots, and then Secret Service took him out. Because I'm pretty sure Secret Service has suppressed snipers, but I don't know. That there's a lot of conflicting reports on that. However, I can say within 20 seconds, the guy's done, right? And then, of course, we have all the follow-up after this, right? Now, my question is, why was let's go back. Okay. Why, for 2 minutes, was nothing done? I am not a conspiracy theorist. I normally am the person who sits there and says, hey, guys, come on. There's probably a rational explanation for this. There's probably, something different that happened, or a simple explanation, etc. I cannot fathom a single reason why this went the way that it did. There is no explanation, in my opinion, that justifies this failure. Okay? We have 2 full minutes. The entire area is supposed to be swarmed by Secret Service or police. I do not understand why no one confronted the shooter prior to this. Other than, again, if that report was true of the police officer getting a gun shoved in his face, I can understand being like, yeah, I don't want my head blown off. But instead of confronting the shooter, they could have gotten Trump off the stage. Why was that not done? Why was he not protected earlier? Why was he not protected until after he got shot? There is no explanation that you could potentially give me that would explain any of that, other than, in my opinion, it was allowed to happen. Okay, maybe it was extreme incompetence, but I mean, there's just too much that has gone wrong here for it to be incompetence, in my opinion. I don't want to be conspiratorial, and I don't like suggesting that this was allowed to happen, but you tell me, what other explanation do you have for this complete and utter failure? And it was quite honestly by the grace of God that they didn't actually shoot him in the head, because he just happened to turn his head the right way to avoid that. Like, it's insane. So, you guys tell me in the comments down below what you guys think, because this is crazy to me. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you the other videos that I was talking about that I found on TikTok. One of them is a former Army sniper. He's a congressman, Corey Mills, talking about it. We're going to watch that real quick.
Let's bring in Florida congressman and former U.S. Army.
Let me see if I can get the... I'm going to see if I can get the desktop audio louder for you guys. And then I'm muting myself so that way I don't have any background noise, because it is a little bit low. So let me get that.
Sniper, Corey Mills. What kind of shot was this, Corey, from 130 yards?
Look, at the end of the day, this is a shot that your basic training boot camp soldier is requested to make within their 9-week period. This is one of the easiest shots, and they train all the way out till 300 or 500. And when I was doing the counter sniper, it wasn't with the United States Army. It was actually when I was with the State Department and was doing this exact thing, which is trying to look at going out with an advanced team, establishing what the perimeter is, and then as a sniper, when you would set up, you'd put together your range sketch or your range fan cards, and that would tell you where your 100, your 200, your 300, and you'd identify the areas of threat that you would be able to mitigate. And if there's multiple targets, you understand that your elevation and windage knob wouldn't have to be messed with, especially at 160 yards. You could literally just look, quickly glance, and know from the reference point whether it be a building, whether it be a lone tree, whether it be a parking lot, maybe it's a road. Bottom line is that this is massive negligence, to the point of me speculating on what was intentional and what wasn't.
Wow. When you're doing a site survey and you're seeing this rooftop not that far away, Why did it look like the counter sniper team was a little surprised?
I can only speculate, and we'll have to wait until the investigation comes out, that they thought local law enforcement was potentially climbing up onto the roof when they saw a dark object on a light roof. But here's the issue.
Wait. You're saying maybe they misconstrued crooks for local law enforcement?
It's very possible. I don't want to speculate until the investigation is over, but the bottom line is that if you saw someone climbing onto a roof that you hadn't authorized any clearance on, it's got a clear line of sight. It's exactly adjacent to the shooting where the president was sitting, and you're talking about a...
Yeah, okay. I have to disagree, and I have to disagree. There's no possible way that you could suggest that was a possible friendly. There shouldn't be anybody on that roof because there's no clearance for that. Number one. Number two, people are like pointing and saying to law enforcement, hey, what's up with this guy? And law enforcement should have a direct line to Secret Service communications wise. So that argument, in my opinion, does not hold water and is completely illogical.
Pop shot, and you got people yelling, and there should have been comms. The minute that local law enforcement, who apparently had a rifle pointed on, there should have been an emergency frequent comms channel that they could have said, we have a shooter on the roof. Secret Service should have rushed the stage and immediately took the president and took him off, and then responded to the counter sniper. The shot should not have gone off. That is the failure in itself. You're supposed to be able to try and, the best security is when you go in and you're actually able to prevent an incident, not react to an incident. Even if you would have left a law enforcement officer's patrol car in that parking lot with the lights on, that could have been a deterrent. But when you have nothing that is actually showing force protection, you're encouraging this. Look, I'm not sure about who the individuals are on the individual detail Secret Service, but I can tell you under this Biden administration, the one thing I've seen is massive DEI hires. And I can tell you, when you primarily go after DEI, you end up with DIE.
So when you have these counter snipers waiting until 8 rounds are fired, what accounts for that?
To be honest
after
with you,
the first shot, you get a return fire immediately?
The minute that a shot rang out, they should have already been on scope. Your spotter should have already have called the distance if you hadn't looked at your range card, and you should have immediately engaged. Okay. There should have been no reason to have waited a single second. Now, I talked to Eric Trump after the incident. Eric and I are both gun enthusiasts. We both shoot long distance. That right there is a pop shot. But he did say, I've gone out with the CS teams, and they are one of the best. He knows the service detail that's with them. They are loyal individuals who actually do care about the president. I can say that was relayed to me. But the bottom line is this is a massive security breach. This is a huge failure. At negligence is at best. But we have to figure out why something within 200 yards. Think about this, Jesse. 200 yards. That means that an average rifle that holds 1 minute of angle would hold a 2-inch grouping if you just shot it straight off the deck, meaning on a platform. So now you're talking about 160, which is 1.6 inches is what its grouping capabilities are. The average head is what? 6'8", shoulder to shoulder is 20 inches, head to waist is 40 inches, and President Trump's a very large man. This is a shot that within 5 minutes I could teach you to make 9 out of 10 times. So this is divine intervention. This is the God having his protective hand and wearing Ephesians 6, the armor of God, over the president, because this is right here, a millisecond or a millimeter and change, and this isn't an attempted assassination. This is an assassination of a president.
The devil was in Butler, Pennsylvania, but so was God.
Well, and I can say one more thing, if I may, which is that let us also remember that King Henry II went in and said, can no one rid me of this turbulent priest? And his knights went out and killed the Archbishop of Canterbury because they thought that was a direct order. What do you say when President Biden says it's time to put a target on Trump? That, in my opinion, is the insightful rhetoric. That's the stuff that they would have went after for the J6 stuff. So why don't we have our own J13 investigation?
Yeah, there needs to be a full investigation on this, absolutely. And it needs to not be crooked like some of these other former investigations were.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's what he just said makes so much sense. There's no reason why any...
That's right.
Politicians.
Oh, hold on.
Mills, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Try to pause it. Yeah, there's no excuse, man. Like, it's crazy that he was able to even get that close. It's a miracle that he didn't hit the target. I mean, at 100 yards, I can hit pretty much what Last time I went to the range, I could hit at 100 yards, 1, 2, 3, like 5 out of 6 shots with a red dot. So me shooting I think they're saying it was between 130 and 150 yards with an actual scope. I mean, that should have been an easy shot. So this shooter sucks, and thank God. But at the same time, like he was saying, it doesn't make sense that they were not looking or responding to something within that particular what's the word I'm looking for? Closeness. I can't think right now. Why were they not on hyper alert for things within a 300-yard range? That. So yeah, it's quite crazy that that was allowed to happen, in my opinion. So yeah, it's crazy. So next we're going to go to a video from the BBC that I wanted to bring up, and we're going to watch that one as well. Let's see, let me bring this up.
How did the US Secret Service fail to stop this? The FBI says this was an attempted assassination, that it's surprising the attacker was able to open fire. BBC Verifies examined videos, eyewitness testimony and satellite imagery to build up a detailed picture of how that happened. On Saturday night, Donald Trump was speaking at a campaign event in the city of Butler in Pennsylvania. He took to the stage at 3 minutes past 6. There were bleachers behind him and Secret Service snipers on a roof. Just over 100 meters away were these buildings outside the rally venue. From the nearest, the gunman had a clear line of sight to the stage. This video shows the same buildings. It was filmed at 10 minutes past 6. We know this because we can hear Trump's speech in the background. The smaller building on the right is the one the gunman was on. In this video, we see a man talking to someone who appears to be a police officer. They both look at the buildings. An eyewitness also told the BBC that while Trump was speaking, they'd seen someone on the roof.
We noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us. We're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on.
The police haven't responded to this claim. There's also this video filmed by a member of the public and showing the gunman as he opens fire.
So here's another thing that I'm not understanding, right? Everybody's pointing at this guy, being like, hey, this guy's crawling on the roof. If I'm law enforcement, right, you don't actually have to climb the ladder behind the guy to get up there to do something about it. From this angle, you can clearly see the guy, right? And while he was climbing in the video that we watched prior to this, when he's like, he's not really army crawling that well, because like he was like pushing himself up to like get off the roof and then kind of crawling. If you can see he's got a gun and he's presenting himself in that way, if you just walked back away from the building, you could probably shoot him from where these guys are taking this video. Like, if you're a good enough shot, because this is probably what, like 15, 20 yards away, not even, from this shed where the guy's on top of, that should be a really easy shot, especially if you have a carbine, or most police carry those in their vehicles. I mean, heck, even a shotgun with slugs. But like, most police have AR-15 style pattern patrol rifles. Why, especially at a presidential event like this, I'm sure many of them had them. Why did nobody go? Because we saw in that other video there were police vehicles parked in front of this building. Why did nobody go to one of those police vehicles, get the carbine, come back over, and try to take this guy out? They had 2 minutes, 2 whole minutes to do it. It doesn't take that long to go there, grab the rifle, and come back? I'm just saying, there's so many questions that are not being answered that doesn't make any sense why nothing was done. Because that's what I would do. Somebody's like, oh, there's a shooter on top of the building. Especially the guy that guy just talked to, if they both look, they're like, oh dear. Yeah, I would immediately be going and saying, hey, there's a shooter, this, and that, communicating with Secret Service. If I don't have a direct line, I'd be communicating with anybody that I could while going and getting my carbine, coming back around and taking shots at the guy from as best a vantage point as I could. And yet, that wasn't done.
At 11 minutes past 6, there were 3 shots. Trump raises his hand to his right ear and ducks. There were more shots. One person in the crowd was killed, 2 others were critically injured. This video shows an injured man being carried away. Cross-referencing with other videos, we know this is in the bleacher to the right of the stage. That's consistent with a shot being fired from the roof towards Trump. Seconds after the shots were fired, in the words of the Secret Service, snipers neutralized the shooter. This video shows a person motionless on the roof of the building. On the stage, Secret Service agents surrounded Donald Trump before moving him away. We have a clear picture of how this attempted assassination played out. The investigation will want to find out why the Secret Service didn't do more to prevent it. How did the US Secret Service fail?
Okay, yeah. So then I have another video. Let me see if I can get that up. So this is they're tracking his movements here.
The Secret Service is facing
Hold
question
on.
about how the gunman
let me
was
pause. God dang it. Okay, let me bring this up for you guys.
able to get on that roof about 130 yards from where former President Trump was standing. President Biden is ordering an independent review. House Speaker Mike Johnson says Congress will investigate.
Yeah, because Congress
pretty
is
clearly
do
there was a
anything.
security lapse at least, and we need to find out, for example, why were drones not used in the area? I've not gotten a satisfactory answer on that yet. We have
Yeah,
more
it's a pretty
questions
good
than we have
question.
answers, but
I'm
Congress is
curious
going to
about
get
that
down to the
too.
bottom of this.
All right, CNN Chief Law Enforcement and Intelligence Analyst John Miller is with me now. And John, you've
I like
done
this
many
analysis too.
events like this where you went on the other side in law enforcement here. One of the questions is, why wasn't this guy shooter maybe on the radar beforehand?
Well, as far as he goes as an individual, and they're still digging into his social media in the
Because he
past,
didn't raise any
he
flags?
is not on that list of people who are threatening the former president. He's not online making vitriolic statements that they've uncovered so far or calling for violence. He's just not on the radar.
He's
Now,
not, but a bunch of
the other
Democrats
thing that's
are.
really
And I'll show you some of that in a
remarkable here
minute.
is,
Or
in
no,
terms
I
of
think I already showed
planning,
you that.
Advanced planning, you know, how long was this in his mind? He's buying a box of 50 rounds of .223 rifle ammunition that afternoon, somewhere between 12 and 2 o'clock. He's in the gun store purchasing ammunition. So this doesn't sound like something that is something he'd been preparing for months. So that would be a challenge to him being on the radar.
Right. Bought the ammunition that afternoon, used it in the early evening. In terms of what else was found, the explosives in the car, the transmitter on the body, what questions does that raise for you?
So those are really interesting questions because they take the other side of that coin, which is in the trunk of the car, they find basically an ammunition can, and they see wires coming out of that to a receiver. So what they think they're looking at in the shooter's car, parked near the event, is a remote-controlled device. At the house, they find a similar box in his bedroom, which they consider, since they've seen what's in the car, another potential device. But you have to ask, if it's got a receiver on it, and he had some kind of transmitter on him, I am told by sources, what was the purpose of having something that could cause an explosion in the car? And let's take a look at it. One version is, if he wanted to distract all the security personnel from his presence while he was trying to sneak up on a rooftop. He could have cranked off that device, caused everybody to focus on that car. Another possibility, which is really interesting, is he was seen at the magnetometers earlier. They had flagged him as acting squirrely around the magnetometers, and they had put that over the air of keep an eye on this guy. Was he looking to place a distraction device that would have drawn security to the noise of multiple explosions coming from some direction that would have taken their focus off of him? All of these are not answers. All of these are questions that are...
I don't think either of those make sense, and here's why. If we go with the first scenario where he's planting the thing in his car to blow up his car, how's he going to get away? Assuming that he believed he could get away afterward. Maybe he didn't think he was going to get away, so that wasn't really an issue of, okay, I'm not going to get away from this alive, so what does it matter? But if he thought he was going to get away, how is he going to get away if he blew up his own car, right? Number one. Number two, let's say he does blow up the car. As we can see from how Secret Service reacted to tackling Trump and getting him out of there after the shots were fired, if he blew up his car, or even in the second scenario blew up the security checkpoint or anything while he was climbing up the roof, or even while he was on the roof, that would have caused it to be harder to shoot at Trump, because Secret Service would have reacted the way that they had when he got shot at, in that if he sits there, sets off the bomb, it explodes, and then he has to get back onto the rifle and line up his shot. Well, Secret Service is already probably, tackling Trump to the ground, getting him covered, and then moving him, and then the guy gets beamed in the head by Secret Service without having to without being able to fire a shot. That doesn't make sense. Secondly, that also goes for by the security checkpoint. If he blows up the security checkpoint, it's the same thing. That's what happens. The only thing that I could think of was he brought the gun as a secondary, possibly, and he was going to try to sneak the bomb in close enough to set it off near Trump, right? Because that might be more effective than the gun. However, the more likely thing that I think it was, and this is what I really do believe, is he was going to try and set up those explosives to go off after he took the shots. Why do I think that? Well, it would be a huge distraction that would allow him to get away. Possibly. Right? If Secret Service was not at the top of their game, he takes those 3 shots at Trump, or even more, I think that those 3 shots, then that pause, and then the rapid shots afterward, if all of those came from the shooter, that pause might have been him trying to set off the explosives. And maybe the transmitter didn't work correctly, and so they didn't go off. Because it would make a lot of sense. Now, again, this is all speculation, but it would make a whole lot more sense for him to take bang, bang, bang. Let me click it. Explosion off in the distance. Now Secret Service is like, okay, we just heard shots from over here. Now there's a big explosion over here. That would give him the split second for him to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then try to get away. Because where he was on that roof, it's like this, and he's like on this side. Secret Service is over here. If he crawls up here, takes those shots, and then slinks back down just a little bit, there's no clear shot on him, right? So it makes a whole lot more sense for him to have climbed up there, take those shots, tried to set it off, and then it didn't work. So there was no distraction, so Secret Service was able to take him out. And he wasn't able to get away. But these are all speculation. That's just what makes the most sense to me. Because that was kind of what oh my god, what was it? The Aurora Theater shooting guy who shot all those people in Colorado, that's what he was trying to do. He tried to set up bombs to go off at his house so the police response would be over there, so that way he could shoot the people at the movie theater and get away cleanly. But they didn't go off, and because of that, the police were able to respond and take him out. Or take him into custody, I think. So he wasn't able to get away because the bomb didn't work, and that's what I think was happening here. Was those bombs were designed to confuse just enough for him to be able to get away, or at least not die to Secret Service, but clearly that failed. However, that's just my opinion. There's nothing to support it, just my thought. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think that that makes more sense, or what this guy's saying?
That are on the table about what was the purpose of that device. Did it have anything to do with this plot?
Then the question is, he's up here, the snipers are right here, Donald Trump is right here. What were the rules of engagement for the Secret Service and the local law enforcement snipers? And just so people have a sense of the timeline here, the shooter was spotted by a local police officer near magnetometers. You discussed that. They saw him on the roof. Supporters and police spot him on the roof. Then the shooter points the gun at a local law enforcement officer, hits Trump, and the shooter is killed by a sniper there. I'm going to put this map up again here. So again, what could they have done? Could they have acted more quickly?
So you've got the inner perimeter, that's the event. Secret Service is in charge of that. You've got the outer perimeter, which is a mix of Secret Service and local law enforcement. And then you have the third perimeter, which is mostly local law enforcement. So when they say we've got a guy on the roof with a rifle, people are alerting them. Now your clock starts at around a minute. An officer starts to go up that ladder to get on that roof and is confronted at gunpoint by the shooter, according to the accounts we got from the sheriff yesterday. And at that point, they're putting that over the air.
Okay, so that is confirmed as
going
true.
on over here with an individual on the rooftop to the sniper.
Okay, but again, why did the local law enforcement officer have to go up the ladder? Why didn't they back off and shoot him from behind? I mean, it was clear that you could see him.
But a rooftop is like this. There's an upside and a downside. He starts on the downside of that roof. They don't see him until he pops up and that first shot is fired. Now, we've listened to the audio. There's about a second and a half between the first shots and the multiple shots that they fire taking him out. This isn't the only counter-sniper team.
Okay, so it sounds like it was the multiple shots taking him out. So it was those first three, and then that pause, and then all those other shots were from the counter-sniper team. Okay.
There's 4 set up on the ground. So this is, the rules of engagement would normally be, we have an individual on a rooftop, he has what looks like a rifle, they would call the detail leader and say, do we have a green light? The detail leader would make a judgment. This happened way too fast for any of that, and their reaction time was split second.
All right, there will be a lot of questions about...
Okay, but that doesn't explain why it took 2 minutes for them to respond and why shots were allowed to break beforehand. Local law enforcement could have done something, in my opinion. Secret Service reacted pretty fast when it came to counter-sniping, but not fast enough because they should have gotten Trump off the stage well before that. Communication was obviously a failure, if there was any. But the biggest one for me is in a venue that looks like this, why do you not have your own Secret Service or local law enforcement counter-snipers on every elevated structure around this area? You have it here on these 3 buildings, and you don't have it here on these buildings? Or the water tower that's, you can't see it in this one, but you guys saw it yesterday, that there's a water tower over here too. Why did they not have people on these structures? Doesn't make sense to me why they wouldn't have those, unless there was, again, either it was intentional or it was completely and utterly mismanaged. But that's just my opinion. Now, I don't get it. But then again, who am I? I'm just a YouTuber. Anyway, guys, so then here's let's end it with this because it's crazy. We also have this ending where local media, if you guys don't know who Asmongold is, he's another YouTuber who I came across this on TikTok, and it was both funny and quite sad that our media is so biased that they can't even tell the truth when it comes to an assassination attempt. So get this. Just, I'm just going to play it, and you guys can just watch it as it is.
And I was actually thinking about this. Imagine what yesterday would have been like if you couldn't post whatever you wanted on social media. Like, look at this. Secret Service rushes Trump off after popping noises heard at Pennsylvania rally. Trump escorted away after loud noises at PA rally.
I think my stream froze. Did it freeze? Hold on. I gotta check. It froze for a second, I think. Give me a second. Okay, it should be good now.
And I was actually thinking about this today. Can you imagine what yesterday would have been like if you couldn't post whatever you wanted on social media? Like, look at this. Secret Service rushes Trump off after popping noises heard at Pennsylvania rally. Trump escorted away after loud noises at PA rally with a picture of him with blood on his face. Trump whisked off stage in Pennsylvania after loud noises rang through the crowd. Ex-U.S. president walked off stage. He walked off Trump removed from stage after loud noises startles former president. Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after he falls at rally. This one is crazy. Forbes put this out an hour ago. Will surviving gunfire be Trump's next appeal to black voters? No. Where's the link? No, I don't believe it. The article has been deleted. It was so bad that Forbes got rid of it. They took it down. That's so fucked. Archive it? If somebody can give me a link. Got it. Okay. Oh my god. The release of his criminal mugshot deeply resonated with black voters. Hopefully being shot doesn't have to be a similarly problematic strategy to link Trump with an experience far too many black people have. I mean, guys, hey, I'm just reading it, okay? I'm just reading it. Don't get mad at me. The photograph of what's been known as the Black Power salute. Hopefully Trump doesn't claim that he raised his fist was an homage to two black... Oh my god, bro, like... I want to let you guys know this article was so stupid that Forbes deleted it. Very rarely does it go that far. Yeah, Forbes is like, guys, this is... Read it. Does that sound good? And I was actually thinking about this today. Yeah. Can you imagine what yesterday would have been?
Yeah. That's the state of politics and the media in our country. They refuse to say that it was an assassination attempt, and they just try to make Trump look weak by saying, oh, he fell on the stage, or, he got scared at popping sounds. It's like, dude, he got shot, bro. Like, at this point, guys, you have to go to only one of like 2 or 3 media sources in the United States, or to other countries' media sources like the BBC to get any type of truth at all. Because it's crazy, man. So, all right, guys, this stream's been going for a long time. You guys tell me, okay? What do you guys think? Do you think it was intentional? Do you think that it was just complete and utter incompetence? like, what do you guys think? And you guys tell me in the comments down below. I appreciate all of you guys, and I don't think I'll probably do another stream on this. I may do like a put together video, but I think I'm done streaming this stuff for a while now, unless some like major breaking news drops and I happen to be home at the time that I can do a live stream on it. I don't know. My future live streams will probably be something else. But anyway, guys, you guys let me drop a ton. I cannot speak. Problems of doing things live is you can't edit that out. Bummer. Anyway, guys, appreciate all of you guys. Drop a comment down below. Make sure to like and subscribe this video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Wow. This is why I don't go live a whole lot, because I prefer to edit those whoopsie daisies out, because I hate sounding like Biden. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys. I'm just ending.